Newly developed and groundbreaking technology is helping blind people see by converting vision into sound. Researchers have pioneered acoustic touch technology in the form of smart glasses, which translate visual data into auditory cues. I'm joined now by Robert YEARSLEY, co-founder and CEO of ARIA Research. Robert, welcome. You've worked with the University of Sydney and UTS on this research. Can you tell us how it works?
Yeah, so the ARIA system looks like a pair of glasses, a little bit like what I'm wearing here. It uses a machine vision system to convert the environment that you see nearby into a three-dimensional model, and then the system uses that three-dimensional model to project three-dimensional surround sound back through speakers in the arms of the glasses. And this allows someone without vision to have spatial perception.
Well, how do you develop sounds associated with objects? And is this a whole new language that vision impaired people will have to learn?
Well, we've already, as humans, we've already know how to interpret the world through sound. We've been doing it all of our lives, whether we're sighted or blind. So the trick with the technology is to actually use artificial intelligence to understand what's around you and typically play the appropriate sound. And this is the current generation of the ARIA technology, which is augmented reality in audio. So what we're doing is projecting, for instance, what a glass sounds like onto a glass where a glass happens to be. And as a result, you have a very intuitive sense of where that glass is, because it sounds like a glass in front of you. So you just reach out and the glass actually happens to be there. That's a very simple example. And by extension, we can build up a very rich environment of what and where objects are that you can just hear. And as I said, if you're blind or sighted, you've had a lifetime of experience hearing where things are and what they sound like. So the trick of the artificial intelligence system is to filter down and present only what's needed for a blind person in that particular circumstance. And as a result, you wind up with a very intuitive system that is very, very easy to use.
So not everything will have a sound?
No, not everything, because there's a massive issue with cognitive load when it comes to technologies like this. So you can imagine receiving all visual information as an auditory signal. Just the frame of my face at the moment, if each pixel was a sound, it would be overwhelming. It'd be like a fire hose of information. So the challenge is to pick out only what is relevant and easily understood in the moment and nothing more. That turns out to be a massive engineering challenge. It's a core part of the research that we've been working on at ARIA.
It's estimated that almost 40 million people are completely blind and many others have levels of vision impairment. How much will this technology transform their lives?
We've done about 300 with-man trials to date. That's been across, I think, about 35 or 40 blind participants. And the response has been pretty consistently quite extraordinary. The commentary that we've had from blind participants thus far is that this will actually be transformative. The thing that really got me was an early trial participant. He's got 2 teenage daughters. And he said, "Rob, you know what, mate? I can always hear my teenage daughters fight, but I can never hear them smile."
Oh.
Like, now I could actually imagine, and not only imagine, but kind of see someone smile through this technology. And he had a little bit of a cry and he said, "This has just been incredible. Like, this is a whole nother dimension of connection that I can have with my family that I don't currently have." And that light bulb went off at that point, and my mind went, okay. Now I really understand the value of what we're working on. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff.
That's very cool, very beautiful. I guess the next question, when will this technology be available for the public and is it scalable?
Yeah, so the answer to both your questions, we're starting a pilot clinical trials in April next year. We're aiming to be in market commercially available late 2025. And the whole point of ARIA is that it's non-invasive and built for the most part out of smartphone consumer electronics. So the device itself is imminently commercially scalable because it is not implanted. So a big difference of what this technology represents is that it doesn't require an implant. And this has been a big drawback of implanted vision systems like bionic vision systems over the last 30 years. And it's been a major struggle because it's very difficult. So if you can do the same thing without actually having to go into someone's brain or someone's optic nerve, the commercial scalability is there. And we're talking close to 338 million people living with blindness and low vision globally. So this is a big problem. So we're quite excited that this technology has the ability to scale to meet global market need. And that's a pretty rare thing coming from anywhere, and to have it coming out of Sydney is pretty extraordinary.
What other sort of ongoing advancements can we expect?
From the technology, so currently we're working on immediate spatial perception, so what and where things are. I alluded to some of the more advanced capabilities, which is things like non-verbal cues. Say, for instance, the nod that you're giving me right now doesn't make much in the way of sound, but you and I know what that sounds like. It's like, or But to know what and where those things are, even on a video call for someone with vision disability, is huge. So getting into the social aspects of this is really, really where the main game is at. Because if you live with blindness, you live with social inequality. So if we can address some of those big issues, we're going to have a massive impact in the livability of blindness and what it means to interact with sighted people. So pretty cool. So that's the next big phase of what is happening with the technology. At a deep tech level, we're working on some very advanced machine vision and camera systems in conjunction with the University of Sydney and UTS. And this is world first stuff. So basically, we're going to see the emergence of some seriously awesome Australian engineering heading out to the global market. And it's just an exciting thing to think that we can actually engineer, design, manufacture, and export all this stuff from Australia. It doesn't happen very often, but things are changing. It's good.
It is very exciting what you're doing, and you've already won awards for this technology. Congratulations. What sort of response have you had internationally?
We're in talks with a major global technology company who is working in the space of augmented reality glasses. Some of the technology we've developed is of great interest to them because we've tackled some of the big problems around augmented reality glass. And as you might know, the big tech companies out there, the Apples, the Microsofts, the Googles of the world, are looking at glasses as the next technology interface beyond the smartphone. And there's big problems with that, namely the display and the ability to actually find a useful use case for the technology. So ARIA is quite interesting because we found an all-day use case for augmented reality glass. We have a life-changing impact potentially with our end user. It's also a very large market, and it's a big problem for governments. So if you're looking at this business and technology space and going, I hope what happens with augmented reality doesn't happen with virtual reality, which has been a little bit of a fizzer, probably look no further because we think we've actually figured this out. So yeah, we're in a very interesting position. There's been a lot of interesting American attention on this technology for these reasons. But more importantly, basically America is probably the largest, most wealthy, supported blind market there is. Australia is fantastic, and we're collaborating with the NDIS, which is awesome, pretty awesome in itself. But Australia is only 1% of the global blind vision market. So yeah, the market's elsewhere. The hope here and the intention is to build a global technology company, a bit like Cochlear, for instance, based out of Sydney, exporting globally, and we're certainly getting greeted with open arms from the American market. So, yeah.
Well, again, Robert, congratulations and all the best with all of that. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much.